what are you reading? And I said, I'm reading Great Expectations. And he said, no, 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 no. No, no, no. He said, we're reading Great Expectations by Charles Dickens in class. He said, what are you reading for enjoyment? And I had no idea what he was talking about. Yeah, like I think most Bangla kids don't read for enjoyment. They read to pass exams. And that's what I thought reading was. And my English teacher looked at me and he said, oh, no, 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 no. He said, you must make friends with books. He said, because later on in life, maybe you will get a divorce. Maybe you will be unpopular at work. Maybe your friends will leave you. And he said, but books will never leave you. I say, what are you reading? And they say, when I was at university, he said, no, no, no. What are you reading now? And they say, I don't have time for reading. You know, I don't have time for reading. And a few years ago, I had cancer. Yeah. And my doctor said to me, you've got to walk every day, 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes in the evening. And I said to my doctor, I live in Dhaka in Bangladesh. You can't go walking in Dunmondi. Yeah. And he said, go early in the morning, 6 o'clock. Go late at night. He said, but you must take exercise. And I said to him, I don't have time. I'm so busy. And he said, Mark, every time I see you, he said, you've got a different book with you. He said, so you have time for reading. He said, but you don't have time, he said, to stop this cancer coming back. And it's was that you just talking now, Nassim?
Hello? Can you hear me now?
That you? Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much.
You? Yeah.
Have you done your PhD from Oxford University?
Yeah, but like
so we have gotten a scholar from Oxford. Thank you very much for joining with us. Now it is your turn. We are very much eager to hear from you, and our participants and our learners are waiting for your conversation, for your speech. And some of them didn't join for their internet connection, some of them didn't join for their academic classes, some of them didn't join for many problem, but they will be watching your recorded videos, and that's why we started our recording now. And from now our recording is started. And before starting the recording, I should talk with I should say about Mark Bartholomew. I should say that please introduce yourself, Mark Bartholomew, sir. And I hope you will start talking about yourself, then go to our topic. Our topic is why should we talk? Sorry, why should we read? So please start.
Hi, everybody. Hi again. What can I say? I started out in life, okay, as a psychologist, but an academic psychologist looking at the history of a particular mental illness, but I decided I didn't like doing it much. So after 8 years at university, I changed direction and I became an English teacher in Turkey. And then I joined the British Council and in the end became a director. I've been here in Bangladesh, this is my 11th year, and I like the country, and I live with a boy here that I've lived with for 7 years. He's married, he's got a 3-year-old daughter, but he's kind of my best friend. So Bangladesh is home now. I also find as I get older, I work harder and work becomes more important to me. So it's work is about the only thing I do with my life. So COVID doesn't make a big difference to me, because I just work and that's what I do all the time. Okay, so that's me. My other point, I suppose, what I want to talk about is reading. Because I think reading is the area which most students pay no attention to. So, for example, if you ask a student, what do you really like about a language? They will never choose reading. And if you say, what's the biggest problem for you in a language? Maybe they'll choose grammar, they'll say they don't have enough vocabulary, they make a lot of mistakes when they're writing, they don't have any confidence when they're speaking, they can't understand foreigners, they can't understand films, but they don't choose reading. And that's a great shame, because unless you can go and live in a country where English is the native language, then reading is the best way to learn a foreign language, first. Secondly, I think reading takes us to different worlds. It makes our life a better place. We understand when we read that we're never alone. Yeah, because even if we're reading someone who lived thousands of miles away from Bangladesh and who maybe lived 200 years ago, that person can talk about things, and describe feelings. And we read those things and we think, God, that's me. That's me. That's exactly what I think. And so if we read, we're never really alone, because we know that other people have experienced the same things as we are experiencing now. Okay? I can tell you lots and lots and lots of other things. I can tell you, for example, that students who read do better in mathematics, in physics, in chemistry, and statistics. Yeah. Reading helps us academically, it helps us to think as well. Now, all of this is a great shame, because that's not what we do when we're reading. Yeah, when we're teaching reading at school, we're not really teaching people to love reading. Yeah, we choose really difficult, old-fashioned texts, yeah, which are not very interesting for us. We always choose difficult things, and then we ask people exam questions about what they've read. Or we use reading as a way of practicing grammar. Like in the second paragraph, underline all the examples of the present perfect or the passive voice. Yeah? But what this does is it makes a reading lesson into a grammar lesson, which is not a reading lesson at all. So I would like to suggest to you that if you really want to improve your English, you should read every single day in English. And you should read things which are not too difficult for you, so that your reading becomes more confident, so that your reading becomes not something that's just boring. And finally, read things that interest you. So there are 3 rules there. 1, the more you read, the better your language skills. It's better than watching films. It's better than writing essays. It's even better than speaking practice. Number 1. Number 2, always read stuff that's a bit easy for you. And number 3, always read stuff that you're interested in. Don't read what people say to you you should be interested in, okay? Just read what you enjoy. If you enjoy science fantasy, science fiction, detective novels, murder, love stories, read those. Read those. One final thing. People often tell you that to get the most benefit from reading, you should read a book. Not on your telephone, not on a computer screen, but you should actually use a physical book. It's rubbish. Number 1, in Bangladesh, books are really expensive and they're quite difficult to find. So you can't always find what you want to read. And if you do find it, you're paying hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of taka, unless you get a photocopied version and then you find the most important pages are missing. So if I were you, I would read from the internet. I would download stuff illegally, to be frank, because we don't have any choice in Bangladesh. We can't get books easily available. So if it's up there on the internet, read it. And read it on your phone, read it on a computer screen, or read a physical copy. But Charles Dickens is still Charles Dickens if you're reading him on your smartphone. Okay? Now, there are not many of us here, I think. Apart from Fazlul and me, there are just 4 of you, in fact 3 of you. So why don't we talk about the problems you've got with reading? Be honest. It's a big problem in this country that you ask people their opinion, but often they tell you what they think you want to hear, not what they really think. So I was talking to some kids in Sylhet, okay, class 9, and I said, so who's your favorite writer? And these boys, right, are 15 years old. Do you know what they said? Shakespeare! Shakespeare's my favorite writer. And you think, you're lying. He's not your favorite writer. He's really, really, really difficult for me. And I was born in England. And I'm 60. And I'm a university teacher. So if I find Shakespeare difficult, he must be impossible for you. Yeah? So, what do you read? Unmute your microphones and tell me about reading.
I think Mark invite us to talk about reading, that whether we are reading or not.
Well, about your own feelings about reading, your personal reading habits.
Okay, sir. I was listening our guest teacher very carefully, attentively, and whatever he said is very suggestive to us and very real to do. And that's the reality in our country. He understands the real point.
Siam, what do you read? Do you like reading?
I like to read detective topics, and
What do you like to read?
Detective stories.
Detective stories. Go on.
Yes.
Tell me.
And I do some reading habit, and I like detective stories, and my what to say, my favorite writer is Arthur Conan Doyle, who wrote the Sherlock Holmes.
No. Are you ready? I'm going to give you some other ones, okay? Yeah, and I tell you why. Because Arthur Conan Doyle died nearly 100 years ago, okay? And his English is really difficult, I think.
Yes,
okay.
Sir. His English is very difficult, and too difficult to understand sometimes, and I have to sometimes use dictionary to get some understanding or meaning of some vocabulary or words that are not used recent days. This is
Yeah,
very old writing, but I like to read Sherlock Holmes stories because this is related to my subject.
look at look at the chat box.
Okay.
I have just sent you to the chat box two American writers. They're both dead, but Jim Thompson died. I don't know. I think he died about 1980. And James, he's the guy that wrote The Grifters. Okay,
Sir,
and
I don't get any message from your chat box.
I've just posted in the chat box two books. The
Yes,
books.
sir. Okay,
Can
found
you
this
see
book.
them?
Sir, we cannot see any message.
Yes, sir. Yes, I can see this book, both those books, sir.
Yeah,
I
I
have
great.
seen
can.
the book because I have seen it in my laptop, but in my mobile it is not seen. So
Oh,
if anyone missed
Ah,
it, I will send you email by email.
listen. Email me. If you email me, I will send you the books again. Okay? But the
okay.
thing
Thank you
about
so much.
those books is they're written in modern English, that they are fairly easy to understand. Yeah. And they're both American. Yeah. And they've got a more modern feel. You understand the motives better, and they're exciting. And the thing about Arthur Conan Doyle is he's not very exciting, is he? Yeah.
Okay, sir, I understand.
Do you want to read Arthur Conan Doyle, right? To find out what happened in the story? I don't think so. Yeah, because I don't think he's particularly interesting. But if you email me, okay, if you email me, I will email those books to you. Okay, what does everybody, but very good that you do read. That's a great thing. Do you watch films about detectives as well?
Yes, sir. I also watch detective films, but not in English, in Hindi.
Ah, ah, ah.
Very honestly.
Would you like to try in English? Do you download on torrent?
Yes, I can use torrent, but I don't feel good or satisfied watching English movies with subtitles. That's feel uh, irritating when I watch movie as well as subtitle.
Then don't use the subtitles.
But I'm not so perfect to understand only what they're
Ha,
speaking. That's it.
aha. Are you telling me that you can understand Arthur Conan Doyle? No. Yeah, sometimes you've got to use your dictionary. He's
Yes, sir.
difficult, yeah. And also, he's talking to an English audience. He's talking about parts of London and so on and so on and so on. Yeah? But you make the effort, don't you? And it's the same with films. You need to make the effort. So if you don't understand a bit, stop it, go back and listen again. Yeah?
Okay, sir. I will try it.
And let me recommend to you
Yes, we can. You can suggest me another movie.
I have The Bone Collector.
Yeah, I get.
And
I get that.
if you are, okay, quite a complicated movie, but very good movie. Okay,
The Pelican
okay.
Brief. Yeah, sir. I get
The
it.
Pelican Brief and uh, all of them in modern English. What about you, Nassim? What do you watch? Or what
Uh,
do you read?
uh, Thank you, Dr. Mark, for giving me opportunity to say something. See, I'm usually habituated reading books, uh, various types of novel books. Actually,
Novels? Which
yeah.
novels?
So recently I'm reading the Stephen King, The Shining. He's an
Oh,
American author.
yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, 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 yes. Thank you, Siam.
This is
Um,
Sajjad, not Siam, sir. This is nothing
uh,
Sajjad.
Uh,
yes, I
uh,
know, but
um,
Siam has just sent me a personal message.
Okay,
So
okay, okay.
Sajjad, um, Stephen King, horror.
oh, sir.
Ah, fantastic. Stephen King. Yeah, and
He is known as one of the best-seller writer in the world, as far as I know.
yes, he is, but he's also quite a good writer, isn't he?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so
Yes.
if we look at, say, Dan Brown with the Da Vinci Code, yeah,
Yes.
he's a best-selling writer,
Yes.
yeah, but he's not a very good one. But
Yes, sir.
Stephen King is a good one. Well done. And so you like horror, do you?
Yes, sir. How and also like to read Harry Potter.
Ah, there I cannot follow you. Um, Sherry Isfahani in Chittagong 20 years ago, she said to me, she said, Harry Potter, she said, he's not just for children. She said, he is for adults as well.
Oh,
And I thought, okay, I'll try. And after 20 pages, I thought, no, Harry Potter is for children. Yeah. But she is a hugely successful writer, isn't she?
yes, sir.
Yeah. Again, Sajjad, if you email me, I will send you some great horror stories.
Okay,
Ones.
sir.
Short ones. Okay? So, Kausar, what do you read?
Please, sir, repeat again what you said.
What do you read, Kausar?
Yeah, I read some stories, novels, basically Bangla. I found of Bangla of reading novel or stories. But English, also drama.
Who are the greatest writers alive today writing in Bangla?
Yeah, Humayun Azad.
Humayun Ahmed is dead.
Right.
Sorry for the bad news.
Yeah.
Who alive today, who's your favorite?
Yes, sir. Hello.
Writing in Bangla,
Right.
I think Dr. Mark asked you
Moinul Hassan Sabir. Yeah.
a question.
those are my
Oof,
favorites
I'm.
writing in Bangla.
Yes, sir. I'm feeling some trouble, sir. Okay. Let me.
Yes, you have a visitor. Don't worry, Kausar, don't worry. Yeah, play with
Okay.
your
You
kid.
can continue, sir. Right.
Yeah, it's quite difficult to read Bangla writers because the translations into English are often very bad
Difficult.
indeed. Yeah.
Right.
And I do not like Tagore. And I
Why, sir?
often think the reason I don't like Tagore is because the writing, the translation is just so bad. So if we look at Humayun Ahmed, yeah, but what about that guy? I mean, this guy's dead, so I'm breaking. Because he wrote
So as
in
well, you-
Bangla. He wrote in Bangla, didn't he? And then he translated his own work into English. And his English is beautiful.
very smooth and easy for us.
Yeah, Saeed Waliullah, he's a master. But what upsets me about Bangla writing, yeah, is that the rest of the world can't read it. Yeah, the rest of the world can't read it because the translations are so bad usually. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much for your valuable suggestion. Actually, I will try.
I don't think you need to apologize for reading in your mother tongue. Yeah. Any reading is good. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Great. And now Fazlul is telling us that we only have a few, in fact, we have 8 minutes left of that. I am here in lockdown, and therefore, and I am passionate about reading. People often say they're passionate about things, but I am really passionate about reading. When I go to bed, right, there are always like 2 or 3 books lying in my bed, and I never go to sleep without picking up a book and starting reading. Yeah. So, and I think, but I did not start in life. Fazl's talking about Oxford and PhDs. My father grew up in a prison camp in the Second World War, and he could never read and write properly in any language. My mother left school when she was 14, yeah, and so so there were never any books in my house. But my father wanted me to be an educated man because my father had money but no education. And we always want our children, don't we, to do better than us. And I was lucky to get an English teacher at school. And one day he said to me, you can be sitting, this is in London, right? He said, you can be sitting in London. He said, but you pick up a book and suddenly you are thousands of miles away. Yeah, suddenly you're living in a different century, right? And nowadays, people often say to me, it's true, isn't it? Yeah, it's true. The truth is, we do have time for reading if we make it a priority. And like, I do not make exercise a priority, yeah? And reading, not only because of the spiritual benefit, but also because of the academic benefit, the benefit to your language skills, yeah, is a hobby that you really need to cultivate. And now we have 2 minutes left, and I'm going to pass back to Fazlul, who is going to say, thank you very much, Dr. Mark. Thank you very much, Dr. Fazlul. Over to you, Fazlul.
Yeah, truly speaking, I feel motivated to be a very nice reader like you. Though you know the Bangladeshi people, Bangladeshi students are trying to read the book to commit to memory, to pass the examination, to get a good job in Bangladesh.
But that's our fault. That's our fault as teachers. That is where we fail.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I feel motivated, and I will try to motivate our students, my students even. So thank you very much. Now I would like to give 30 seconds to any participants who want to say something about our program.
Hello, sir.
Okay, Nasin Sajjad, you are requested to talk.
Yeah, actually, it is a very splendid platform. So, sir, I especially thank to Dr. Mark for providing us some precious information about reading and reading habit, as well as providing a good material for some books and likewise a movie. So
email
thank you very
me,
much.
Sajjad. Email me, Sajjad.
Certainly,
it's very nice. It's very nice to meet you. The last time